What's good, YouTube? We back again with another reaction video, um, about the nostalgic digital horror of GTA San Andreas. Now, I don't really know what this is about, um, besides the title, what it says. But yeah, it seems interesting horror. It's early in the morning type, so it's that type of time. You feel me? For some shit like this. Horror. Let's see what they talking about. I don't know, but give me some nostalgia too. So I feel like it's the perfect video to react to at the time. So that's what we about to do. Further ado, we gonna see what they talking about. Classic PS2. Classic PS2. You can't go wrong with that, man. And it really is gonna be nostalgic.
Grand Theft Auto San Andreas wasn't supposed to be a horror game, but for an entire generation of people, it was. If you ever played this game from the time of its release back in 2004, or if you were introduced to the game in the early 2010s the way I was, you clicked on this video for a reason, and that's because you know exactly what I am talking about. This game curated many people's childhoods, with it being many people's first experience with the GTA series, early internet culture, early YouTube, and the early 2000s as a whole. But this game also helped shape something else that many people don't seem to realize, with that being digital horror as a whole, setting up the foundation for things such as early internet urban legends, creepypastas, analog horror, ARGs, and solidifying digital horror as a staple for what we now know it as. This game is more than just an icon in the world of gaming, but is also unknowingly the catalyst for all modern digital horror as we know it. But how? Well, we're going to take a step back and travel back to the late 2000s and early 2010s, back when we were children, back when we were scared of the dark, back when we would stay up late without our parents knowing, back when GTA San Andreas was more than just an old nostalgic PS2 game, but instead was our childhood. This is the state of mind we need to put ourselves in order to fully understand and feel the nostalgic digital horror of GTA San Andreas, and how each element behind this game, whether it be its environment, graphics, myths, nostalgia, or impact on early internet culture.
Ain't gonna lie, you could, like, by the environment, the way it looks, like the graphics as well. Like, yeah, it does give that vibe a little bit. See what you talking about.
Unintentionally, these things turned GTA San Andreas into one of the most terrifying games of our childhood. Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is a game that needs no explanation, as this game was a pioneer for its time and has changed the trajectory of gaming as a whole to what it has become now. From the game's immersive story, to its ensemble of A-list actors for its cast, this game is regarded as a fan favorite amongst the majority of GTA fans, and it's for good reason. But one of the things that helped make this game so iconic wasn't just its story, its characters, its gameplay, or even the technological requirements to create the game, but instead the game's map and environment. The world of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas is massive, and for 2004, was considered one of the most technologically advanced for its time, mainly in part due to the game featuring 3 main playable cities, with those being Los Santos, San Fierro, and Las Venturas. Each of these areas of the map feature unique things that helped it stand apart compared to other areas of the map, such as different environments, unique NPCs bound to different regions, specific weather types, and much more. Each of these cities created lively atmospheres for the game's story to take place in, and helped immerse the player into each of these different environments by using all of these specially tailored features. From the gangs in Los Santos, to the pride flags in San Fierro, to even the casinos in Las Venturas, these areas all had a unique identity to them, and genuinely felt like you were traveling to a completely new Grand Theft Auto game with each new city. Traveling to the airport to fly to these locations, or going on road trips to get pushed straight into rush hour traffic. These experiences were something every player has encountered while playing the game, and it helped make the world feel more alive, and make it feel as if it was happening around you and not the other way around, but the same can't be said for the areas of the map in between. While traveling throughout the map, or while playing through the story, you aren't always surrounded by these sprawling urban concrete jungles, but instead you will be surrounded by the contrary, with that being wilderness. This game was one of the first GTA games to feature wilderness in the map, which helped expand the game's overall size and complexity, by not just featuring the main cities, but now also featuring desolate woods, giant mountains, and endless deserts. These areas are the backbone for this video, and without them, this video nor digital horror as we know it today would cease to exist, because these areas were more than just background scenery, but were also entirely fleshed out landscapes made to immerse the player into the game, and let me say, Rockstar nailed it. The same way we have the cities of San Andreas, we also have the wilderness, with, as previously mentioned, the game featuring countless forests, farmland, mountains, desert, and everything in between for the player to explore. But something is off about these locations. Unlike the lively cities of Los Santos, San Fierro, and Las Venturas, these areas are the opposite. They're drab, empty, desolate, and are devoid of life. Even if you know a lively town is nearby, you still just can't shake that feeling that something is off. Great examples of places in the game that fit these descriptions would be the area surrounding Baco Beyond, the ghost town within the desert, and the countryside just over Vinewood Hills, as these locations are some of the primary examples many players use when talking about the game's unsettling and off-putting vibe that it has. Baco Beyond is a location near the bottom left area of the map, and is located near Mount Chiliad, neighboring the rural town of Angel Pine. Within this whole area of the map, there is nothing aside from a few lonely stretches of road, endless trees and greenery, some small lakes and rivers, along with a few buildings spread out, such as the factory just below Mount Chiliad, along with the desolate log cabin just outside of Angel Pine. This whole area of the map isn't really something many people might pay attention to while playing, as if you stay on the main roads, such as the highway, you will just avoid most of the forest and be taken straight to civilization. But if you do the opposite, your experience of playing a fun GTA game will be stripped away from you, and will be replaced by the feeling that you have just been transported into a horror game. The forests of Baco Beyond are nothing compared to the cities of San Andreas, and aren't even comparable to the rural areas, such as the rural spread out towns in the countryside above Los Santos, as unlike those towns, these forests have nothing. No animals, no people, no sounds, there is nothing apart from the occasional abandoned vehicle or singular log cabin nestled deeper in the woods. As you explore this part of the map, whether it be by accident or on purpose, the only sense of life is you and the radio playing in your vehicle if you're even in one, regardless of what time it is and regardless of what the
I could dead see that. I could see that.
weather looks like. This is a feeling that continuously persists until you inevitably leave the area. It's almost like a gut feeling, like something isn't right.
I was just about to see, like, it looks like something. It's like the type of environment where it's like something is watching you, like in the distance or whatever. But like, I don't know, it just gives that vibe. Like something is about to come jump scare you or do something like that.
Like any second, something will appear from behind a tree, or something will run up behind you if you stop moving. We don't know what would do that, and as adults we obviously know that wouldn't happen, but as kids this is something that plagued our minds. The feeling of loneliness is something that this area holds heavily, as it is such a contrast from the rest of the game, that it gives it a sort of uncanny feel to it. The idea of being alone in such a vast and open area with the occasional structure or vehicle being present reminds us that life is here, but if it is, then where is it? This same thing can also be said about the ghost town featured in the northern part of the map within the desert, as this seemingly random town in the middle of nowhere was abandoned, but instead of the feeling of loneliness coming out in full force, well, the feeling of being watched comes out instead, as even though there isn't anywhere to hide within the desert, it still feels like a presence is in the town. This quote-unquote presence can be
It feels like being watched even more in this one than the last one. This is even more unsettling. This actually reminds me, if y'all know the show From, like, it kind of, I don't know, it seems like that to me a little bit.
attributed to various different things, such as the feeling of something watching you from behind the buildings, or the feeling that something supernatural is within the town, as the old cemetery would suggest. These feelings are probably mainly due to every other city in the game featuring life in it, and having people walking around, talking, driving, and living within them, but I also believe that it's because of everything previously mentioned. It also doesn't help that just east of this area, there is Area 69. Which is right in the heart of the desert, where there is literally nothing in sight for what feels like miles, except for the Lil Probe Inn, which due to its alien and UFO theming, doesn't really help with those feelings of being watched. These are the feelings and thoughts I have always had of these areas, and I am 100% sure that anyone else in my shoes playing the game at a young age has also felt. This game's ability to express such diverse environments was always something that fascinated me, especially due to the game's ability to make each transition into a new biome seamless. And due to this, I believe it helped me immerse myself even more into GTA San Andreas compared to other GTA games. The entire reason I ever bought Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and even became interested in it is because of something we will go more in depth later on in this video, but that's the franchise's various myths and legends. As a kid, I would watch most things on the platform, but the videos that truly drew me in were anything gaming horror related. I would watch Markiplier, PewDiePie, Peanut Butter Gamer, Mullet Mike, Dark Myth Hunter, Tad's Top Videos, and just so much more as a child because I have always grown up around horror, Halloween, and just learned to love and embrace everything scary. This fascination with horror, combined with my love of gaming, is what eventually led me down the rabbit hole of these early Grand Theft Auto myth hunting videos, and since at my dad's house I wasn't allowed to play any GTA games, I was only able to watch these videos until I was finally able to convince my mom to get the games for me, with GTA 4 being the first GTA game I've ever owned. Since I wasn't always able to play the games due to me being at my dad's house and all that stuff, I would instead just watch these videos while I was there, of people playing GTA looking for these myths, such as Ratman, the sewer crocodiles, or well, whatever myths were in GTA 4. Then when I would go back to my mom's house, I would just pop in the disc and would try hunting them for myself, but obviously since they weren't real, and since GTA 4 didn't really have any myths, I stopped looking for them and eventually found out about and made my way over to the myths of GTA San Andreas. Small side tangent here, but I still have a very fond memory of my mom and my sister watching me explore the sewers of GTA 4 or like the railroad, the subway, whatever it was, and since I would always stand in front of the screen, I remember my sister, like she ran up behind me and scared me like from the couch. It's one of my favorite memories I have with my mom and my sister, and it's probably a reason why I have such an attachment to this topic, but anyways. But after I got bored of GTA 4, I remember convincing my mom to buy me GTA San Andreas at the GameStop down the street, which didn't come in a typical case, but instead a shitty yellow disc holder like it was paper, and this was how my fascination with GTA San Andreas came into play. It also didn't help that I was always kind of convinced that, like, I don't know, my game was haunted since it was a used disc and since it didn't come in a normal GTA San Andreas case. But I was a kid during the peak of early internet creepypastas, so I mean, what else would you expect? So as I began to play GTA San Andreas on my old PS2, I became infatuated with the game's world and environment, as it was so different from what I was used to in GTA 4, which is what made it so terrifying. I was now transported from a world with no wilderness to a world filled with it. From a world with amazing graphics for the time to a world where your eyes play tricks on you due to the low resolution. It was terrifying. It was scary for me to be anywhere outside of the city. It even terrified me just to be alone in CJ's house. Anywhere where there wasn't people, noise, or anything filled with life petrified me. Sure, this may be due to the myth hunting videos I watched, but as a kid, it was just nearly impossible to avoid these types of videos. So the fear of these myths, combined with the game's unsettling environment, was a recipe for disaster. So much so to the point where I would only play the game during the daytime or with my nephew. This, combined with the game's low quality textures compared to GTA 4, is something that always made me feel even more unsettled as a kid, as I'm sure it did with you guys too. And to pick up where I left off before I went on this whole nostalgia trip, this game's brand new environments compared to what I was used to in GTA 4, and its ability to be so seamless is what always terrified me, but also fascinated me about this game. This ability to have such an unmatched vibe compared to any other Grand Theft Auto games isn't just due to the environment though, but it's also mainly in part due to the game's low quality graphics, which help complement each other to create this liminal atmosphere. When you see clips online, or think back to playing this game as a child, or even at the age you played it last, especially if it was recent, your mind probably thinks not of a specific location, but instead of a type of feeling. Sure, maybe your mind thinks of Grove Street or Los Santos or wherever it may be, but wherever or whatever you visualize, what does it look like? And most importantly, what does it feel like? I can't speak for anyone watching obviously, but for me at least, when I close my eyes, I don't see a high definition picture of the game, but I instead visualize a blurry, foggy, low quality screenshot, almost like in a collage of multiple different areas of the game. And for each of these specific images that appear in my head, each of them makes me feel different, from calm, happy, uneasy, to even a little bit scared. And these feelings give me goosebumps. Even now while writing the script and as I'm recording the video, my body is just covered with them as I try to visualize the game, and this is mainly due to in part how the game looks with its low quality graphics. As I said, when you think about this game, you may not think of a location, but instead you might just think of a feeling. But whatever it is that you visualize is comprised of the game's graphics, which when put through this example of visualizing the game, looks extremely liminal and dreamlike, and may also feel that way. If this didn't work, whether it be because
Bro, he's really speaking though. Like it does. The graphics, yeah. Like, well, what I'm doing right now, think about GTA 3. I'm like Vice City and all that. I mean, Vice City is kind of similar to that, but it's a different environment. It's like Florida. It's not gloomy in certain areas and stuff like that. It's just like Florida, like sunny, tropical type shit. So, but this, yeah, I do see what you talking about. Like, think of GTA San Andreas is like um gloomy, like it's like an edge to it. GTA 3 was kind of, I mean, I would say it's like dark, but it's not really um yeah, it's not really, it's just dark. It's not really creepy like that. But yeah, I see what he's trying to see, and I agree with it. as well.
Because you never played the game or just don't have an active imagination, or if you think it was pointless and didn't do it, then well, no worries, because I can just show you that dreamlike imagery. Now, there's a lot I can talk about regarding the game's graphics, and how they indirectly influenced / created this liminal feel to the game, and honestly, almost everything regarding this game's graphics and technical limitations have a huge role to play in doing that, but some more than others. The game's draw distance, especially for the PS2 version of the game, is what could be held responsible for giving the game its dreamlike feel. And it might feel weird to say that, because in theory, it doesn't seem like it would be that big of a deal. But it's the way Rockstar masked this technical limitation that caused that feeling. You see, these consoles weren't able to render a lot at a time, which I'm sure is common sense to everyone watching. But some people might not realize how little these consoles were able to render at once. The PS2 was able to feature games that included anywhere from 4 to 8 gigabytes of data, which for the early 2000s was pretty impressive. Except the only issue was that these discs weren't able to read off all of this data, due to the PS2 only having a whopping total of 32 megabytes of direct RAM for general processing, which meant that everything in the game that didn't need to be immediately loaded in, well, wasn't. This combined with the 4 megabytes dedicated to video RAM meant that due to the size of San Andreas, the render distance had to be cut extremely short, and in order to make the game feel seamless, Rockstar added fog to help hide the areas of the game that were not rendered in yet. This was obviously needed in order to make the game playable, but it came with unprecedented side effects, such as when traveling in a vehicle while driving at a high speed, buildings, trees, and the environment around you would suddenly materialize out of the fog. This wouldn't happen in the cities that much, since they were specifically designed to have players slow down at turns or avoid traffic and even fully stop their vehicle to avoid accidents, but the same couldn't be said for the countryside, as there weren't these limitations to avoid the world materializing around the player, even though Rockstar tried to prevent it. That's why in the country, and even just in the entirety of GTA San Andreas, the game has a lot, and I mean a lot, of repeating textures, which can easily be seen due to how low quality they are. This was used to help with the game's rendering, and to help it run faster, but instead gave the game an even more uncanny feel to it, as a lot of the game's textures are flat, repetitive, and just blurry, which needed to be done to save memory. This repetitiveness can also be seen in various other parts of the game, such as in the game's NPCs, dialogues, audio, lighting, interiors, animations, traffic, and just so much more, and it was all done to save memory. You guys get the point. All of these very specific things unintentionally helped create the dreamlike atmosphere, even though they were all done just to help the game run smoother.
Yo, like another game that it kind of reminds me of. If y'all know the Dark Eye Priest or Black Eye Priest, whatever, his name is. Um, it reminds me of that. You know, even though that's like more modern and stuff, but it kind of reminds me of it, like the graphics and all that, the way um, I want to say the gameplay, but the graphics and the movements and all that, it looks similar to GTA San Andreas.
These quirks in the game weren't meant to be scary, and I mean they were literally just technical limitations, and sure, I guess the silence and repeating textures within the game's interiors, along with the draw distance fog, or the harsh lighting of the sky can be seen as unnerving, but when all of these things are combined with the game's massive scale and feeling of isolation, they without a doubt gave the game a liminal dreamlike quality that made our imaginations run wild. Playing the game as a child and exploring the world was something I fondly enjoyed doing, especially if I was myth hunting, but when I wasn't able to see past the fog, my imagination ran wild, and this combined with my mind filling in the blanks due to the low resolution textures was one of the reasons I couldn't play alone, and is one of the most likely reasons this game had so many myths.
You trying to jump scare me. See, I don't know if he's editing this, or he's really like this is really a part of the game. I know, I know, San Andreas had a lot of cheat codes, glitches, and all that, but I don't know. But yeah, it definitely, if it is a part of the game, uh, it's pretty much further showing what I was saying. Like it really does seem like that. That game. If y'all don't know what I'm talking about, if you know Corey Kenshin, the type games that he plays sometimes, one of those games, that's what I'm talking about. Yeah.
This idea isn't new, and is used quite a lot in the horror genre, and it's for a good reason, as having your mind fill in the blanks is something that can elevate the experience whenever you're enjoying a piece of horror-related media. But the overall fear of the unknown can be subjective, as depending on the context, it can either make things more terrifying, or make things just become frustrating. But for the context of Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, it created some of the most infamous pieces of gaming urban legend history. From the skies of San Andreas, to the depths of Back O' Beyond, to even within the comfort of CJ's home, this feeling of the unknown combined with the low quality graphics and surrounding environments was all that was needed for people to start spreading theories, ideas, and thoughts onto the internet about what secrets could be hiding within the game. You see, the GTA franchise has been no stranger to including various secrets, Easter eggs, references, and much more within their games. So when GTA San Andreas released, it was no secret that within the game's massive world it would be no different. So with dozens of unique Easter eggs ranging from mass burial sites in the desert, to ghost graffiti in the Los Santos graveyard, to the appearance of ghost cars, this game featured some of the most unique, iconic, and creepy Easter eggs and references compared to any other GTA game for the time. And this is what began to spark some rumors online that there were more hidden secrets within the game. So within the peak of forum posts and early YouTube, some of these secrets began to spread, but unknowing to a majority of the internet, these were some of the Grand Theft Auto's first ever myths, with some of these being Bigfoot, Leatherface, UFOs, aliens, and even the ghost cars. People began to spread rumors online about where these creatures could be found, and that they saw it for themselves. So with this combined with early video sightings being posted online, this is what officially kicked off the wave of GTA's myths and legends. People claim that deep within the woods of Back O' Beyond, they swore they saw something moving between the trees, hidden by the low draw distance and fog of the PS2, where due to the blurry and grainy imagery, all they were left with was their imaginations, unknowingly spreading the myth of Bigfoot. Screenshots and video clips began to appear online too, showing off grainy and blurry footage that was the perfect kind of, well, evidence, I guess you could say, to fuel the flames into making people believe this urban legend. The same thing can be said for Leatherface.
And it's just like nowadays, people seeing aliens and stuff and recording it. It's the same resolution that we all be seeing. Like it's crazy.
Where people believed he too could be found in the forest of the game, but mainly was speculated to be hidden within the Panopticon area of the map, another slightly forested area designed to be a lumber mill. People too began spreading blurry screenshots and video clips showing what was supposed footage of this urban legend, but nothing really of note came up as proof, except for a lonesome chainsaw pickup that could be found in the area. But on the opposite note, the same couldn't be said for the UFOs and aliens along with the ghost cars, as these had significant amounts of reliability behind them actually existing in the game. From Area 69, to Lil Probe Inn, to even strange lights appearing in the sky. These all fueled the flyer even more, but what really blew these mysteries wide open were the ghost cars. Also hidden within the Back O' Beyond area of the map, 2 abandoned cars can be found, and due to how they spawn into the game, they roll down the hills that they spawn on, giving them the appearance that they are haunted, since they move on their own with no drivers. This is actually something that is in the game and is real, but is most likely just a mistake on Rockstar's part for making them spawn in on the hillside, or maybe it's just a glitch, but I doubt that it was put here on purpose to, well, make it become an urban legend within the game. But due to this specific creepy occurrence, the internet went wild and began to bring up all of these other previously mentioned myths, saying that they were real, using the ghost cars as proof of that being the case. And due to Rockstar never really denying nor confirming the validity of these urban legends, more and more proof, well, quote-unquote proof, began to spread online.
But one thing we all know about Rockstar, they like to fuck with us, or yeah, they like to mess with us a lot. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe even they didn't even want to do it, or they didn't mean to do it at first, and then maybe they just started doing it because they seen the engagement that people was giving them towards like trying to find whatever. But who knows?
But the point I bring up about these urban legends isn't about whether they exist or not, as we all know that they don't, but it's mainly in part due to these myths creating a phenomenon on the internet that led into the early creation of digital horror. Around this time as well, many mods began to be created, which recreated some of these very popular urban legends, which then subsequently created more videos which spread online even more, which then created even more myths which also spread online, and so on, it just keeps going on. If you were on the internet around the same time I was, with that being the early 2010s, you definitely stumbled upon some of these videos, where in them, they would either go over and talk about these myths and urban legends, or would showcase footage of the uploader trying to find them. And as a kid, a lot of these videos were very believable, mainly because, well, we were gullible. But also tying back into what I said earlier, was because of the rest of the game's secrets and Easter eggs and references. This game was so big and had so many secrets that for the time, I mean, who wouldn't be the tiniest bit skeptical that aliens would be in the game? I mean, we literally raid Area 69 in a mission and steal a jetpack from it. So I mean, it really wasn't that unbelievable, at least for some of these myths. Plus,
Me personally, I think that there was like they put aliens and stuff, UFOs in the game. Cause I remember I was watching a video and it was like in the distance. Y'all know the missions where CJ was helping that agent, like near the end of the game, the one who freed his brother. Yeah, like they was like he was driving or something like that, and like around that part of the story, like it was definitely I saw like a UFO go down, like or like a speck in the distance. It went either shot up or shot down, but it was like in the sky. Like that was very peculiar. But I wouldn't be surprised if they actually had something like that, like in here. Like we all heard about the Bigfoot and all this and that. It's like a whole bunch of things, but it wouldn't be surprising at all.
also combined with the game's huge map. I mean, who knows what could have been hiding in the game, as there were so many places these urban legends could have existed in. But these myths weren't just about whether Bigfoot, aliens, or whatever myth was actually in the game or not, but was about the feeling they signified, with these urban legends being the final nail in the coffin to create digital horror, as the videos, posts, and screenshots shared online weren't just about finding proof of these creatures, but were instead about the feeling they gave. The feeling of being alone in the woods at night, making you feel like you weren't alone. People knew that when making videos showing off the mods featuring these myths in them, that they weren't actually real, but still presented it that way, and that right there is exactly what led me into making this video. But there was actually one more thing that caused me to make this video that I have yet to share, because the feeling of this game, along with early 2000s culture as a whole, didn't just inspire me to make this video, but also something you can wear, with that being my brand new merch line called the Mono Collection. For the spirit of Halloween and fall as a whole, I have put together a small line of new merch inspired from early 2000s grunge, along with all things dark and industrial. Featuring 3 new designs, including shirts, sweatshirts, hats, and more, this collection is ready to fit into all of your autumn outfits, all while supporting me as a creator. The merch drop goes live on October 1st and will be available for a limited time, so if you ever wanted to show support, all while expressing the darkness of Halloween or just life itself, you can go to my merch store using the link in the description. And for all first-time customers, shipping is free on all items. So if you're watching this video and it's past October 1st, the merch will be available, but if you're watching this within the first week of the video being posted, then you guys gotta be a little bit more patient and just wait till, well, October starts. Plus, if you are also a tier 3 member for my membership, you will also be given even more discount codes for my merch, whether it be 5%, 10%, or even 25% off, along with shoutouts at the end of my videos and just much more. But if you can't support me in these ways, whether it be through my merchandise or through my membership, then subscribing helps out a lot. Now, this little advertisement for my merch wasn't just the only reason I made this video, obviously, even though it was kind of a tiny part, but the main reason I made this video was not because of the environments, graphics, or even myths of GTA San Andreas, but instead was because of its early videos posted onto YouTube showing off some of these myths. Over 20 years ago, the first ever YouTube video posted about GTA San Andreas released, with it actually being the first ever gameplay posted onto the platform, with that being a video simply titled GTA SA, where it shows, well, whatever you want to call this. So as more videos about GTA San Andreas surfaced, this inevitably led to the creation of the several myths and legends videos I previously mentioned, with some of the most iconic and popular ones including videos such as GTA SA, Aliens Found in Desert, GTA San Andreas Mysteries, and GTA San Andreas Bigfoot plus UFO, along with plenty more. So in order to go over how this game, but most importantly these videos influenced digital horror as a whole and turned it into what it is today, we must go over these videos, along with some more that aren't as well known. But first, let's take a look at arguably the most iconic videos first, starting with GTA SA Aliens Found in Desert.
Ain't no way. Bruh, this is GTA 3 though, but bruh.
Well, I was working in my lab late one night when my eyes
Damn, since when Claude could dance? He can't talk, but I guess his gifts went a different direction.
beheld
Crazy.
an eerie sight. For a monster from my pants began to rise, and suddenly, to my surprise,
He did the mash,
he did the monster
the
mash.
monster mash,
It was a graveyard
the
smash.
mash,
It caught on in a flash.
the mash,
He did the monster mash from my laboratory in the castle east to the master.
I don't know, did mods exist back then? Because it could be that. But who knows?
Bedroom where the vampires feast. The girls all came from their humble abodes.
From the Windows Movie Maker intro, to the old grainy footage, to the music, and to even just the absurdity of this video, these reasons are what make it so iconic, and the comments of this video agree. Even though this video isn't exactly scary and was more made just for the fun of it, this video gives you quite the idea of what to expect as we continue to look at these old videos. And as a disclaimer, this video came out 17 years ago. Like, that is almost older than me, and that's how old almost all of these videos are, and well, they aged like fine wine, such as the next video did, with that being GTA San Andreas Mysteries. Now this video is 4 minutes long, so instead of just playing it in its entirety, I'll just go over it and summarize it. The video starts again with the early Windows Movie Maker text intro, and transitions into the Bigfoot hoax. The video shows off some screenshots and supposed sightings of Bigfoot, and debunks some of the pictures, calling them out as fakes. Then the video goes over some Leatherface sightings and does the same thing.
Nah, that one on the highway that we just saw was definitely fake, bro. Ain't no way that's real. Like what?
Calling them out as fakes, and disproving some of the pictures by saying that they are mods, CJ, or other NPCs. Then the video goes over some UFO images, showing them off and saying that they are mods before quickly moving on to the body bags mystery in the desert. They then continue to talk about other mysteries within the game. Not myths or urban legends, but instead actual things within the game, such as the ghost cars mystery, the serial killer mystery, the suicidal pedestrian mystery, along with the Biowell Underworld Gant Bridge Easter egg and falling lemmings. This video is one of the only videos like this that I have included for this segment, as there are so many pieces of content like this debunking and fully going over these myths online. But this one was one of the first ever made. Plus, a lot of other videos about these mysteries are super long and wouldn't fit into these other pieces of content that we're going over. Also, as I'm writing,
The only ones I really heard of was Bigfoot and I think serial killer. Yeah, I don't know. I wasn't really too much like as a kid. GTA. I wasn't. I was on 2K and stuff like that, but I started with GTA 5 a little later, like my teens. But you feel me? A little backstory and shit. But yeah, I heard of Bigfoot and the serial killer one. Yeah.
the script, I realized that, well, some of the things that make these videos super nostalgic was the music that was used in them, but I am unable to use some of these songs due to copyright. So I'm gonna try my best to work around these copyrights and still include the music. So if the music is super low quality nostalgic music, then that means I just inserted the music that was featured in the video but lowered the quality of it to bypass the copyright system. Anyways, the next video we're going to look at is one of the most iconic GTA San Andreas videos ever made, with that being GTA San Andreas Bigfoot plus UFO. And since there really isn't much to explain in this video, I will just show you guys it in all of its glory.
Hey, is this the same guy that we saw the UFO or the aliens dancing and stuff? If so, then it could be another mod. But we'll see. It's, it's probably a mod, if you being real. Because what are the chances he come across Bigfoot and then sees UFOs? I think so. But no, he might have been extra lucky.
I did trim up the video just a tad bit since it is 4 minutes long, but I mean, you don't have to watch the full thing to understand the video, which is probably why it is one of the most popular GTA San Andreas videos ever made. Just a simple video showing footage of Bigfoot being killed, along with footage of a potential UFO in the background. I mean, it couldn't get any more 2008 than this. But even though these 3 videos are some of the most popular with a combined view count of over 15 million, there are still a couple more I want to go over since they also nail down the exact feel and vibes these videos had and encapsulate the early days of digital horror to peak perfection. So let's keep looking at them. These next couple of videos are fairly short and follow the same formula for the most part compared to the last videos, and because of this, I will just show you guys the videos, starting with GTA San Andreas Pigsy Found.
Damn, Pigsy. If you don't know, he's using Manhunt. One of the main, or one of the villains, I should say. But that's crazy if he was in here. And that would mean that Manhunt took place after this, after San Andreas, if he's in it with the chainsaw and everything. Cause I ain't gonna spoil it, but we know what happened with him at the end. So, damn.
Now this video is what I consider to be one of the more scarier videos made back in the day, mainly because of the fact that there's no nostalgic music, but also because you hear pig noises in the background. Now for anyone unaware of what Pigsy is, it's a character from another Rockstar game called Manhunt, and this character was another one of GTA San Andreas' more popular myths, mainly because you can actually find small action figures within some of the game's interiors that are of Pigsy. So because of this, people thought Pigsy was actually in the game somewhere, and videos like this helped spread rumors even more online about it, creating yet another extremely popular yet scary myth. But this video isn't the scariest one we have looked at, as I'm sure the next video will be the scariest for some people. So if you want it to be scary, then do yourself a favor and close your ears for the next 10 seconds as I speak. But if you want to avoid being scared, then you might want to lower your volume for this next video, simply titled GTA San Andreas Bear Found.
I ain't gonna lie, this music is not scary at all. It's kind of funny, especially if you know the original. It's kind of funny to me.
Now, how could you not include a
Tried it.
video that features a screamer in it? Now, fortunately for me, I don't think I ever stumbled upon this video as a kid, but a lot of the comments did, with many people saying how this video scared the shit out of them as children. And looking back at these types of videos as an adult, this one, well, really isn't that scary in my opinion. But you can't talk about the early internet, especially early internet horror, without mentioning a screamer or a jump scare, or well, whatever you want to call it. As a kid, I used to call these pop-ups because I didn't know what they were actually called, and since this was pre-FNAF, the word jump scare wasn't as popular. This myth about bears being in the game was actually fairly popular, because it was later found out that bears were originally supposed to be included in the game, but were cut, which also helps give this video that myth hunting sort of vibe. But there is still one more video I want to look at, which I feel will cover all the bases when it comes to these early GTA videos, with the final one being CJ's mom ghost found.
His mama. She's dead, bro.
I actually heard about this too. Like, yeah, somebody said. I think I watched a video before, and they said that the mom's ghost was seen probably somewhere in this room, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, that's crazy if it is. I've never seen it, so that's gonna be something new for me. Nah, that's wild, bro. If that's real and a part of the game for real, that's wild.
I feel like this video is again another perfect time capsule for 2008, and just that whole era of YouTube and the internet as a whole. I think it was this video, but I remember watching one of these videos about CJ's mom's ghost urban legend, and it basically made me too scared to enter CJ's house in the game. Whether it be in broad daylight or not, I generally just remember being too scared to go anywhere near those stairs because I thought the ghost would appear and like attack me or kill me or something, or even jump scare me, even though the myth clearly stated that it would just appear at nighttime and then disappear and not do anything else. But you guys should get the overall point now, an idea of these videos, what they were about, and how they incorporated all these things that made GTA San Andreas creepy and unsettling to create these videos. If you were on the internet around the same time as I was, you probably remember watching some of these videos, or videos similar, and how they psychologically fucked with your head. These videos didn't just spread these myths online, but they gave them life. Their shaky camera angles, 240p compression, and nostalgic music or silence made them feel real and more believable, because their videos didn't just show off sightings or document the myths they featured, but instead they defined the way we experienced them. These videos blurred the line between rumors that were spread online and reality, which fundamentally is the foundation for the kind of digital horror we see today, from creepypastas to ARGs. Even though you can't really notice it while watching these videos, these were some of the first forms of digital horror storytelling, or whatever you want to call it, as even though some of these videos just show off footage, some of them use their Windows Movie Maker intros to build a story, even if it isn't that in depth, with a good example being both GTA San Andreas Bigfoot plus UFO and GTA SA Aliens Found in Desert, where they both use text to help immerse the viewers into thinking these videos are real. But this combined with what was featured in these videos aren't what made them terrifying. It was us watching these videos late at night, us having our mind play tricks on us due to it filling in the blanks with our imagination. And sure, these myths and videos might still be a bit spooky, but now that we are adults, they aren't as scary as they were as children. And that's because we made them terrifying. We weren't seasoned horror fans or used to the
Let's see this. Like, watching Five Nights at Freddy's as a kid was way scarier. Obviously, because it's literally a horror game. But yeah, it was. I don't know. I never watched these as while I was a kid, or probably one or two, but not too much. So I probably was. I mean, I probably would be a little. I probably feel like it's a little spooky But that's about it though.
Horrors of the internet back then. We were just kids, sneaking onto YouTube, clicking on the videos such as these, and watching blurry clips of people fighting Bigfoot or Leatherface in the woods, all while convincing our gullible minds that it was real. And this right here, ladies and gentlemen, is why digital horror is more popular today than it ever was. But nostalgia can only go so far, because these vibes, videos, myths, and games as a whole didn't just stay in our memories, because as time went on, these types of videos continued to be made, evolving with the internet. This is where nostalgia fully comes into play, and yes, I know I've mentioned it and brought it up hundreds of times in this video, and hell, if there was a drinking challenge to take a shot for each time I said nostalgia, or GTA San Andreas, or just San Andreas, along with, well, myths, urban legends, digital horror, or whatever else, everyone watching this video would be dead right now. But nostalgia is the bow on top of the present, the cherry on top of the ice cream, the Jack with the Coke. It is what fully makes this feeling, experience, or, well, whatever you want to call it, complete. The memories of me waking up in the morning, playing split screen with my nephew, building up the courage to try and explore these creepy environments, along with the memories of us trying not to get scared while watching these exact types of videos, is what transforms this beyond any typical horror, and is what makes it almost universally terrifying for anyone. With how subjective horror is as a genre, it is extremely hard to find most things scary, especially if you are like me and thrive from all things horror. But when you are able to go back in time and dive deep into your memories of when you were scared of things like this, it makes the horror way more better due to the personal attachment to it. The real horror of GTA San Andreas didn't come from monsters, jump scares, or anything that most modern horror games use to scare their audiences. It instead came from us, the players. This is why it still haunts us and is used in digital horror. The nostalgia builds upon and amplifies the fear, because when we do travel back to our memories, the game feels darker and emptier, blurrier, and scarier than it ever truly was, which was proven by the thought experiment I did earlier. Your mind subconsciously blends all of these elements to help create a more cohesive memory, and if you consumed a lot of content like this, then, well, that was also too thrown into the mix. The exact definition of digital horror may be different depending on who you ask, but on the Aesthetics Wiki page, this is their definition of it, and as you'll see, it incorporates everything talked about in this video. Digital horror is a broad genre of horror that is disseminated through online mediums and uses the aesthetics and technology of the early to mid digital era, roughly the late 1990s to the early/mid 2010s, to create feelings of dread, nostalgia, and unease. The genre is defined by its medium and its thematic content rather than a single cohesive visual style. Unlike its predecessor, analog horror, which focuses on the decay and limitations of physical media like VHS tapes, digital horror draws its scares from the corruption of familiar digital experiences. This includes haunted video games, cursed websites, sentient AI, and disturbing web animations. The horror often comes from taking a nostalgic and seemingly innocent piece of early internet culture, like a flash game, an old YouTube video, a pop culture character, or a personal website, and twisting it into something sinister and unsettling. And even though the definition may be a bit vague considering what exactly can be classified as digital horror, especially compared to older pieces of it, the overall concept and idea of it is very much so seen within these early pieces of content regarding GTA, and can easily be recognized as the foundation for the genre. But even though these videos can be seen as the foundation, they weren't the walls, insulation, ceiling, or supports to finish the building, because those would be given to other popular pieces of digital horror that would come out in the years following, because soon the genre grew and evolved, and as years passed, YouTube along with the internet changed. No more were the old quality GTA videos, no more were the Herobrine videos, no more were the creepypasta videos. These eventually turned into more high production collection pieces such as the Mandela Catalog, Petscop, FNAF Ransomware, and much more. But as the genre evolves, it blossomed into something beautiful and was able to become fairly mainstream, which helped it grow even more. But some people never forgot the roots where this genre evolved from, which brings me to the final main segment in this video, with that being a look at the evolved digital horror based around GTA San Andreas. Now, many people are probably unaware of this, but Grand Theft Auto San Andreas has seemingly had a tiny resurgence in horror-related content being posted about it, at least for the English-speaking community, as of the past couple of months. Other games that had had previous involvement in the genre, such as Minecraft, Pokemon, Fallout, and much more have too had a brand new wave of reimagined digital horror, ARGs, and even creepypastas based on the game, and GTA San Andreas is too a part of this new wave. Unlike the majority of the games that have joined this new wave, GTA San Andreas doesn't really have a lot of new videos that fit into the formula of these newer videos, but there are a few, such as Never Do This in Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, GTA SA EXE, GTA SA analog horror, and GTA SA analog horror. These videos are very similar to a lot of the other videos that have come out about the other games recently, and show off spooky things happening within GTA San Andreas that are very akin to a creepypasta story, but they are missing one key element, and that is the blurred line from reality versus fiction. These videos are clearly made to honor those creepypasta-esque videos, and aren't claiming to be real or claiming to be anything other than that, which doesn't fully fit the definition of digital horror or live up to the original GTA videos we looked at earlier. But there is another set of videos on YouTube that do, that I think are 100% more scary, realistic, and just well put together, with that being a scary and terrible version of GTA San Andreas, both part 1 and 2. Compared to the other videos I mentioned, this video is the absolute most grounded and realistic interpretation of a modern retelling of the same style of content posted in 2008, but with a modern day flair to it, along with a classic creepypasta element, which is done by incorporating the quote-unquote cursed/hacked game version story archetype into the series. But before I spoil any more about this video, let me read the description of it for you guys. I recently gained access to a strange version of GTA San Andreas from an account that was hacked. I decided to download this version to my virtual machine and test it. What is it? I believe it's a modification made by a madman obsessed with guns and violence. If you want a sequel, then write it in the comments. And just like that, let me show you guys the video.
Recently I accessed a mod on GTA San Andreas from the account of my friend who was hacked. I received the message quite unexpectedly. You have to see this.
Could barely even see the words. I ain't know what you picking.
I'd been running for about 4 minutes and nothing was happening, but then it started. What is that fleshy creature? The game crashed. The pictures at game start made me disgusted. I noticed 2 entities in the game that had no skin, and when I teleported behind the interior, I noticed 2 entities. I'll keep this game on my virtual machine. Let me know if you want a sequel in the comments. I want to review the whole game. See you later.
Short, eerie, uncanny, and pure perfection would be how I describe this video. The premise is simple, and that is what makes it so effective in my opinion, as this isn't a myth hunting video, a screamer, or anything like the videos posted in the late 2000s, but instead is something completely separate that creates the exact feeling those videos did. Now, creators aren't focused on proving anything, like if Bigfoot is real, or if Leatherface is real, but instead are just recreating the feeling those videos, along with the game as a whole, gave off, all while incorporating
I'm not gonna lie, that was creepy. Like as a kid, yeah, that would be creepy. Oh, well, yeah, for real, definitely creepy. Like,
modern digital horror elements into the story. These videos, but primarily this one along with its sequel, do exactly that, and use the world of GTA San Andreas as a character itself in their videos, as due to the specific look and vibe of the game, it allows itself to almost be a separate entity in a way, and for this video in particular, it kind of is, and this can be seen even more in part 2.
Today I will try to review the whole weird and bloody version of GTA San Andreas again. I tried to run the game, but it didn't work. So I downloaded the archive called GTA San Andreas.zip again. I unzipped the game again and it started up. So yeah, the game worked, but I couldn't enter story mode when I pressed the start game button. The game crashes. What the fuck? I didn't save anything, and the save date tells us it was made in 2015. There's nothing wrong with my video card, and I have no idea why the game is so broken. Plus I have the original and clean GTA San Andreas and it works fine. I can already see the first weirdness. What's that red thing? Okay, it's probably a glitch though. that's enough. I'm deleting this. It was really loud, plus I was playing it late at night. What was that black figure? Jesus. I think this is the last part, but there's no point in playing it anymore. The author of this version probably put all sorts of creatures in there to chase the player. Judging by the pictures, I'm guessing it's a mod made by a schizophrenic or, I don't know, a psycho? I can't tell. Well, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys in the next videos.
And just like that, that is the end of the series, if you even want to call it that. Now, each of these videos have quite a lot to go over, despite how short they are, and even though a lot of it doesn't make sense or is just incomprehensible, I want to talk about it regardless. Now, part 1 and 2 share a lot of similarities, from the startup screen, main menu, pause menu, and HUD, where they all are themed in gruesome, almost flesh-like imagery. From the blood and almost gore-like visuals, it's safe to say that the uploader might be onto something when saying they suspect that the mod was made by a schizophrenic or psycho. The combination of Arabic text and Russian text is also strange, as it feels like it was specifically done just to make the quality of the game, or mod, worse, and gives it the appearance of a bootlegged version of the game, which, well, appears to be the case. Then moving on to the gameplay, it is also extremely weird, as in part 1, the game seems normal until the video reaches the halfway point, where as the player is exploring the surrounding area, a pitch black figure appears from the fog and begins chasing them, before the player is subsequently teleported to what looks like to be an alternate version of Los Santos. In this underworld looking version of the city, there is no sky, along with nothing on the map, and as the player looks around, there is nothing in sight, mainly due to the black fog encompassing the area, making it hard to see. But as the player explores, they eventually turn a corner, where just beyond sight they see what looks to be a dancing NPC, but decides to turn back due to presumably the player being scared, where shortly after the game crashes. Then in part 2, we again see the same startup screen along with the main menu, except that this time there is a save that previously wasn't there. So as the player loads into the save, they are spawned into CJ's house, where all of the textures are completely messed up, with some just being flat out missing. Then shortly after loading in, they see a blinking red dot on the floor, which again disappears. I have a theory on what this is, and honestly it makes a lot of sense. And I believe this just to be one of the blinking lights that can be seen in the night sky of the game, which represents an airplane. I believe we see this because the floor is completely invisible, but it doesn't make sense on why this would be under the player instead of above, so who knows. Then as the player makes their way upstairs, a small piece of text flashes on screen that says "Play with me," which is unlike anything we have seen in these videos, but for as quick as it appeared, it then disappears, leaving the player, along with us, even more unsettled and confused. So as the player continues to explore, nothing of note really happens until they approach the front door, where an all-black figure spawns in while a loud scream plays, causing the player to immediately close the game, which might be the smartest decision I've ever seen a person do in horror or gaming history ever. Now, I know I presented this as a real thing, and unfortunately, it isn't. It's all just a creepypasta made by the YouTuber FTK, and this series is by far one of the best GTA San Andreas digital horror videos I have ever seen. From how subtle it is, to the fairly believable concept, to even just how unpolished it feels, it creates such a unique vibe from its visuals, sound design, and concept that people, me included, are begging for a part 3, as long as it maintains all of these things. These videos are a prime example of how horror, primarily gaming related horror, has shifted and evolved, and for GTA it is no different. This video doesn't need to explicitly say if it's real, or if it's fake. Instead, they twist what we remember, whether it be our memories of the game itself, the myths and legends, or even the older videos about it, and let us sit in discomfort as what we originally remember about these things gets stripped away from us. The mismatch from what we are used to what is presented in these videos evoke a feeling that can only be described as exactly what we felt when watching and playing GTA San Andreas as a kid, except the only difference is now that we are adults, and the videos present themselves differently. And this is what ultimately ties all the threads together in my opinion. San Andreas and the horror around it isn't just one myth, or one creepy video, or even just one feeling. The best way to describe it would be saying that it's like a tapestry, woven together from all of these different threads. From the emptiness in the forest, the fogginess of the countryside, the pixelated textures within the desert, the glitches of the game, the ghost stories posted on the forums, the nostalgia of growing up with it, and now the modern reinterpretations of what placed down the foundation for it all. It all blends together to create something not just familiar, but something even more terrifying. The horror of San Andreas was never just about what was in the game, and was never stuck to it or confined to it, but instead lived in the space in between, in the imagination of the players who filled in what the draw distance hid, in the low quality YouTube videos that blurred the lines between truth and rumor, and most importantly, in the nostalgia that continuously replays those memories, making them darker than they ever really were. The legacy this game has, and the impact it has on not just digital horror, but horror as a whole, is something no one talks about, as it didn't just shape how many of us players saw San Andreas, but instead it shaped how we experienced it, along with gaming as a whole. It taught me that games can be more than just entertainment, but can also be mysterious or eerie or even become internet ghost stories, and can ultimately become a completely unique experience compared to what the developers originally intended. So as the years have passed, we can now recognize and appreciate how this game fundamentally paved the way for creepypastas, ARGs, iceberg videos, deep dive videos, and most importantly, anything related to the genre that we know it as today. So when we look back, we're not just remembering San Andreas as a game, but we're basically remembering a shared memory, one that blends together childhood fear, early internet hoaxes, and uncanny imagery, as this is what we know it as. From the atmosphere, graphics, myths, videos, memories, new videos, to just us as people. Together, these pieces don't just create nostalgia. They created everything that made us remember and, well, look at the nostalgic digital horror of GTA San Andreas. If you want to see more videos like this, then on screen right now is my GTA Creepypasta Iceberg video, along with 2 videos YouTube thinks you might like, as they are all extremely similar to this video.
Alright, so that's the end of the video. I hope you guys enjoyed. Obviously, y'all witnessed me dozing off a couple of times. For me, like it's like 3 in the morning. It is 3 in the morning. So yeah, a little tired, but yeah, this was a it was a cool video. I learned some things that I didn't know about San Andreas that I know now. So yeah, it was a cool video. I enjoyed watching it, and I hope you guys enjoy watching it with me. And yeah, let me know down in the comments what your favorite myth is about San Andreas. And yeah, like comment, subscribe. I'm grateful for everybody who got this far in the video. And I hope you guys have a great, amazing day or night, whatever time it is. And yeah, peace.